Hi, this is the bad boy, Joey Janela, and you're listening to the Going in Raw podcast. Joey Janela always goes in.
This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to Going in Raw.
Hey everyone, Kenny Omega here. In case you didn't know, we have an awesome kick-butt show called Steve and Larson's Going in Raw, and they're going to be supporting AEW every week amongst many other things. Goodbye and smooch. Good night. Bye-bye.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here, youtube.com/Steve and Larson, available wherever podcasts can be found. And, of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. Quick reminder, tomorrow, The Numbers Don't Lie, featuring Going in Raw math on CM Punk. If you want to watch the show live, hit us up on the Patreon at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. $5 a month to get to vote on The Numbers Don't Lie every single week and watch it live. You can also do that on the YouTube at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Click join or by getting a Twitch sub here on the Twitch. AEW on the road to All Out.
Yeah.
Quite the eventful episode where CM Punk evidently confirmed that Bryan Danielson is headed to AEW.
There's no evidently. He pretty much said, patience. He's coming.
That's actually happening.
Basically verbatim what he said. So the situation was, he's doing a promo, and he said something. When we actually do the recap, we'll get to it. Crowd started chanting, yes, yes, yes. And he says, that's someone else's shtick, but, hey, be patient. He's talking about Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, he's talking about Bryan Danielson. I gotta get used to calling him Bryan Danielson. Yeah, that happened. And then evidently the match that's being set out for All Out is, of course, Malakai Black versus Arn Anderson, because we learned tonight that Arn Anderson can easily block a black mass, like we saw after that main event match.
With just his form. It's a form.
It was so easy. It was hilarious.
Yeah, the whole end segment was not very good.
Yeah, it was very much an up and down episode of Dynamite. But all at number one, I love whenever wrestling can be unintentionally hilarious. I love it. So there was a lot to like about AEW tonight. Punk had another great promo.
He did. There was one other development. We were curious or kind of assuming that we'd get Jericho versus MJF again at All Out. Jericho had to up the stakes to get the match he wanted. He's putting his AEW in-ring career on the line, which is basically telegraphing a Jericho win.
Yeah.
I mean, unless he wants to just do commentary for a while and go on tour, then they'll find some way for him to get back in the ring. But it seems he's got plenty to offer still in ring. At least he thinks so. That likelihood of him picking up the W here is probably pretty high. Not all confidence points, but a decent amount.
I might have them all on this. This is a total telegraph. It was kind of interesting to me. I don't really give us much credit for being the smartest people in the world, but the number of other, like some of our contemporaries and just people on Twitter in general who didn't think that Jericho was going to have another match with MJF at All Out when this just seems like clear as day was kind of surprising to me. MJF has won 3 and Jericho has won 0. Yeah. And to me, this seems kind of obvious that, okay, all the putting over of MJF has happened. They have put him, and you could possibly debate the merits of, shouldn't MJF have the last win? And I feel like he probably should.
That's what we thought was going to happen. Yeah, because
he's the big deal, right? He's the one on the come up. He's the young star that they're supposed to be putting over and make. And yeah, when you do the math in the end, as I like to say at the end of the day, right? MJF is going to have 3 wins to Jericho's 1 win. But this match at All Out is totally going to be Jericho winning with a Judas effect.
And they made a massive deal out of MJF tapping out Jericho. They made that into a thing, They made that into
a big thing, yeah. And so yeah, they telegraphed that one. I mean, that's if there's any and I hate saying this because I'm all about the matches and the journey and not necessarily the outcomes. There's 2 matches at All Out, one which I firmly believe, but I don't want to believe, and that's after all this Malakai Black stuff, Cody's going to get that win at All Out. Unless, for some reason, Cody does stay away for All Out and they do Dustin instead. That's the only other option I see on the table, in which case Malakai Black totally wins.
But if it's pushing the eventual loss to Cody, though, because that's going to happen.
That's going to happen.
At this rate, it's going to happen, yes.
That's going to happen. And I don't know, man. I asked this question before, and I don't know, man. I'll probably get to, you and I, we are on the Going In Raw Island, right? And on our island, we're like, no, Cody shouldn't be winning this match. But there's plenty of people out there. Cody's an EVP. He's a big deal in AEW. Malakai Black is a bad guy who's like killing all of his family members, I guess, except Arn Anderson, who's got a force field. And so that match is kind of up in the air. But Jericho, and then Mox, it was announced he's got Kojima at All Out. That's an easy win for Mox. I guess the other one would be like the Young Bucks. I mean, I assume it's going to be the Lucha Bros coming out of this. What do you think? It's Lucha Bros versus Jurassic Express.
Yeah, I mean, they could do Jurassic Express because they lost their tag title shot due to interference, right?
And this isn't a steel cage.
Cage match, which doesn't eliminate interference, but potentially minimizes it.
Hey, if that's the case, Jurassic Express is a lock to win that match, at least in my mind anyways. I love Lucha Bros, though. I hope they win.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, Lucha Brothers are great.
Yeah, they're terrific.
You totally missed me doing the Penta thing.
I really need to get. I can't wait for March, man. I'm gonna get one of them. Maybe for St. Patrick's Day I'll dress up. No, for Halloween. Maybe for Halloween I'll do the. I'll see if I can get a Penta mask and do some Penta face paint with the St. Patrick's Day hat.
Great idea.
Yeah, good stuff. Because you could do. Hey, we'll both do face paint. You do. Whoop 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 whoop. You do Stardust. There you go. Let's just hop into it. Let's see here. It started with Matt Hardy versus Orange Cassidy. There was, of course, some silliness to start. I kind of appreciate that. I think I feel like Tony Khan probably understands that they brought in perhaps a bunch of lapsed fans that hadn't been around wrestling for a little while. Maybe fans of CM Punk who were like, well, Punk's out of here. I'm out of here too. And so he starts off the next thing you see, basically the next program, a familiar face, Matt Hardy, with a new face, sort of somebody who could epitomize one aspect of AEW, Orange Cassidy. And so people tuning in for the first time since last Friday, oh, what is this AEW all about? You get a little bit of familiar, you get a little bit of the new, of what to expect with AEW. And so, of course, they all do their gimmick stuff. They do a lot of silliness where Matt Hardy puts his hands in his pockets, brings out some dollar bills, and then we're off to the races with an actual match.
I will say this, though. It's like we know the Orange Cassidy thing. Whenever he does stuff like this, there's always a new little wrinkle to it, though.
Oh, yeah. I'm not criticizing it. No,
I appreciate that.
I was just saying that with Punk being back, Tony Khan's probably realized, hey, we've got some people who might not have been around wrestling for a little while to at least check out our product. Let's give them somebody we know, Matt Hardy, and somebody who sort of is the future of AEW with Orange Cassidy. There was one kind of a scary moment with Orange Cassidy hitting a fun splash onto Matt Hardy, but it was kind of on his face, and it seemed to have busted his nose, I think. I think he broke his nose. So he was bleeding pretty profusely from that point on. Orange Cassidy hits a swanton, tries for a twist of fate. Hardy counters that, hits an elbow drop. Orange Cassidy finally gets a twist of fate in. That gets him 2. Hardy goes for his submission to Leech. Orange Cassidy counters that with a pin with his hands in his pockets.
Yeah.
Pretty fun match to kick things up on Dynamite.
Yeah, I like that Cassidy was doing a bunch of Hardy references throughout. It was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It was fun. After that, we had a Malakai Black promo. He talks about Brock Anderson being over his head. He says, but I'm a fair man, and I'll give you a way out, Brock. And he tells Brock to just roll out of the ring and take the disqualification. Then he's going to look at Malakai and say sorry, then walk back to the locker room with his dad. And if it goes any different than what he just described, then he'll take him out, he'll take his dad out, he'll take Cody out, he'll take out anyone associated with the Nightmare family.
I probably would have taken that deal, you know. Well, okay, fair enough, you know. I'm trying to protect my family. You got a good reason to. Hey, Dad, I'm trying to protect you. You got your head kicked off the first time. Well, son, I learned how to block his black mask.
Why didn't he? Well, he should teach Brock next time. Just do that.
Yeah, just put your arm up. Well, Brock doesn't have the thickness yet. Arn's got that thickness.
That's true. I guess that's a good point.
Let's go to Waffle House first, son.
There you go.
Jericho comes out, says this has been the biggest week in AEW history. Everyone has been celebrating. Everyone but me. Womp womp. Last week when I had the chance to beat Majif, I lost for the third freaking time. It's been driving me crazy. I've been losing sleep. People ask me, Chris Jericho, why does it bother you? You're Chris Jericho. And I'm like, yeah, that's why it bothers me, dummy. I'm Chris Jericho. He says, until this ends, though, Max, I'm going to keep beating you down every week until it's over. I don't give a shit. And that's why I have a proposal on a way we can end this. So if you come out here now, I'll fill you in. How about this? One more match at All Out. And if I can't beat MJF, maybe I don't belong in an AEW ring anymore. If you beat me, MJF, I will never again wrestle in AEW. I'll just sit there on Fridays doing commentary on Rampage, and maybe one day I'll do commentary on Dynamite. MJF comes out. He's got a cheesy homemade shirt that says like 3-1 or something, or 3-0.
Yeah. Well, I like it was a reference to the Jericho security had those homemade shirts.
Right, yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was good stuff. So MJF comes out, says, I made a promise to myself after I tapped you out that I would never wrestle you again. However, while it's incredible to look at all these fans here and all these idiots at home and say I tapped out Chris Jericho, like, that's cool. But to say I ended Chris Jericho's career, that's legendary. You got the match, but I want you to consider this because you're putting your in-ring career on the line with the man who beat you 3 times.
Yes. We've got a Varsity Blondes promo. Oh, sorry. There's a little bit more to that. Sorry.
What's like, oh no, that was good enough.
Right,
what
very well.
was
no, he says something like, "Hey, you should really question whether to take this match because I would if I were you because I'm better than you and you know it."
Yeah. He had to get his shit in.
He had to get his catchphrase in. So Varsity Blondes had a promo next. They're putting over Lucha Brothers. Said they're brothers, but we're brothers too in our own way. And then Pillman says, yeah, they might not be blood, but their bond is forged by their desire to win this tournament and face the Young Bucks in a steel cage match.
Right. After that, we had Lucha Bros versus Varsity Blondes. This was a lot of fun.
It was a good match.
This is a good match, but the Lucha Bros got the win. After the match, Super Elite come down, stalking the ring, and as Jurassic Express gets in the ring to show respect for the upcoming match between them and Lucha Bros, the Young Bucks go in there. They push Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus into the Lucha Bros, and then Jungle Boy and Phoenix do a suicide dive onto the Super Elite, and they give each other some respect there. So
yes,
this is a good segment here. That's going to be a hell of a match.
That should be a fantastic match. Your main event this Friday on Rampage, I believe. Then we get an Andrade El Idolo and Chavo Guerrero promo. Chavo's putting over Pac, saying he's good. He's undeniably good, but only one of them can be undeniably great. And then Andrade says, Pac, I'll show you at All Out.
All right, let's take a quick break here to get a word in from our sponsor, Liquid Death. So, Larson.
Yeah?
The calendar may say that we're nearing the end of summer, but the thermometer is telling me that it's still hot.
Oh, it's hot outside.
But let me tell you something, brother. When I feel the heat coming on, I reach this awesome-looking tall boy can of Liquid Death.
And you may ask, hey, is there beer in this can? Because it certainly looks like this should be a can of beer, but no. Inside of this can is 16.9 ounces of mountain water that will brutally murder your thirst. Hence the name on the can there. And not only does this can look cool, what makes it even cooler is that aluminum cans are infinitely recyclable, unlike plastic bottles, which just mostly end up in a landfill. See here, Steve? Plastic bottles. They're a money loser for recycling centers, but aluminum cans actually make them a profit.
Also, Liquid Death donates 10% of their profits from every can sold to help bring death upon plastic pollution. So if you want to trick people into thinking you're drinking a beer when you're actually destroying your thirst with refreshing mountain water in an ice-cold can, go to liquiddeath.com/GIR and get free shipping on all water and merch. That's liquiddeath.com/GIR.
Or grab some at your neighborhood Whole Foods or 7-Eleven. Before we get back to the show, let's get a word from our sponsor, Craig. You know, Steve, I feel like I want to take up a new hobby. I want to make stuff out of wood with these hands of mine, but I honestly have no idea where to start. Where do I start?
So what you're telling me is you want to get into woodworking, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, listen, man, I was once like you, feeling the urge to craft something with these hands of mine, but unsure if I could do so. But then I got these hands on a Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro. Craig has been the innovator and leader in pocket hole joinery, setting the standard for 30 plus years. And now, if I got my Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro and a drill, I feel like I can build nearly anything from bookcases to desks to outdoor patio furniture.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, I had no idea. Tell me more. Tell me more, please.
Absolutely. You see, pocket hole joinery is a way of creating fast, simple, and strong joints in a variety of wood projects. And the Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro makes it easier than ever. You know me, Larson. I've never been terribly handy, and the thought of building something out of wood with these hands of mine seemed like a pipe dream. But after going to craigtool.com, that's KREG tool.com, and getting my hands on a Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro, I can build pocket hole projects anytime, anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
I'm impressed.
You should be.
I'm impressed. I have a question for you, though. Can you build me a bookcase? I need something right here, right on this wall. And I think a bookcase, a handmade bookcase would look great right there.
Slow down.
Right
Slow
there.
down, Larson. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to build you that bookcase because you can do it yourself. Now, anyone, even Larson, can easily create perfect and strong pocket hole joints with the Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro. It works with a wide variety and size of material and is great for building all types of indoor and outdoor wood projects.
The Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro comes with everything you need. Retails for just $99.99. It's available nationwide at Home Depot, Lowe's, and other home centers, woodworking, and hardware stores. Learn more at craigtool.com. That's KREG tool.com.
Again, that's craigtool.com. KREG After that, we had Jamie Hayter versus Red Velvet. Jamie Hayter is a hell of a wrestler. I remember when the first time we saw her on Dynamite, I remember specifically you and I were both like, wow, she's really good.
Yeah.
Because she was kind of like a bit player, and then, of course, COVID happened, and then she's back now, and god dang, I can see why Britt Baker likes her so much and brought her back because, holy crap, she is really good. Red Velvet's a lot of fun to watch. Sometimes I wish she would dial it down a little bit with those suicide dives. But
the
no,
two she had tonight were great. I think Hayter's sold them pretty much like Red Velvet was doing a leaping Luthez press out of the ring. She just kind of like flat back.
Yeah, they just sort of like, exactly, yeah.
That's pretty great.
But Hayter gets a win with like a big lariat. And yeah, this is good stuff. So after the match, Statlander comes down because they're attacking Red Velvet, and she attacks Hayter and gets Britt into position for her move, and then Britt's able to get out of it and runs away. So
yeah.
Pretty good stuff. I'm looking for, I think that Statlander, Britt Baker is going to be amazing.
It is going to be really good.
Because they're both really good wrestlers.
They are really good. After that, we had Dark Order promo backstage. Evil Uno says they're a unit, and all units have their obstacles. Heck, they had one a couple weeks ago when some of them didn't support himself and Stu Grayson, but that's okay. We all support our friends. Then Reynolds kind of does, says that he's the one that blames Paige for getting beat down by the Super Elite a couple weeks back because, of course, if you remember correctly, Stu and Uno came out in front of the Dark Order and said, nope, go back, let it happen. And Colt Cabana says, yeah, we did that because that's what Paige wanted. And Uno says, take a step back and go hang out in John's shadow where you belong, referencing John Silver. And Reynolds says, having one in your name doesn't make you the leader of the Dark Order. And he storms out. Uno starts getting apologetic. And I believe it was Ted that says, hey, I thought we were all supposed to be a family. So now the story, I think, is now Paige is going to be the one that brings the Dark Order back together once he comes back.
Who do you side with on this one? Should they have helped him out?
It's tricky because sometimes when a friend asks for space, you give him space.
Yeah, but if they're getting their ass beat by a bunch of assholes, you got to help them out, man. And I'd say, look, you want space because you got to be you, but I'm me, and this is what I do. If I see my friend getting his ass beat by a bunch of assholes, guess what? I'm sorry. I'm going to help out.
I mean, I guess what you could have done is just stop the beatdown from happening and just leave.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
You didn't have to linger. Just
you don't have to
stop
linger.
It and leave.
Hang out for a hug or nothing. I'm just saying, like, hey, I'm going to stop this beatdown. Let's see here. After that, we had a CM Punk interview with Shivani. Really, it was sort of a CM Punk promo, though. Shivani first tries to ask him, what's the one thing that brought you back? But the CM Punk chants are so deafening that Punk says, I can't hear you. I'm actually kind of looking forward just to fast forwarding about a year when CM Punk is not really doing, like, right now I feel like we're getting StarCast CM Punk. Like he's convention meet and greet CM Punk. Because he's, oh, wow, this place is great.
Well, what he is, he's happy to be there, CM Punk.
I don't want, because even tonight he says, I'm going to retire the voice of the voiceless because these people have a voice and they hear you backstage. No. I don't want you to be content with your bosses. I'm not paying good money to see CM Punk be happy. I want to see him be disgruntled, a little bit bitter, and not too happy with the world or where he works. That's the good stuff, CM Punk.
I don't think that's CM Punk now, though, Steve. If you want that CM Punk, you have to go watch WWE programming from 2012, 2013, 2014.
Yeah, no good. Look, he can fake it. It's wrestling. I want to see. He comes out and says, Tony Khan said he was going to make sure all my M&Ms were just red and teal blue.
Maybe next week he'll come out and run down how Arn Anderson can block a black mask with his forearm.
Look at them. Getting these older guys to no sell the young talent. Right? I want to see upset Punk. I don't know what can make him upset here in AEW. It's a company custom made for CM Punk.
I know. Anyway, so yeah, he kind of sarcastically tells the crowd to be quiet. You're being too loud.
I'm sorry. You're all stuffed up. I'll do this because it's kind of
okay.
No, I got it. Just come on. So he was asked, what's the one thing that brought you back? Well, you don't have to leave the frame. People still can see your face. He said, somebody over here said it right. It's Penta. And I'm like, whoa, but you already said Darby Allin. But then he said, it's Phoenix. I'm like, whoa, handicap match. And he said, it's Pillman Jr. I'm like, they're not even in the same team together. What are you talking about? He says, it's Jungle Boy.
He says, give me everyone.
Give me everybody at this gauntlet match right now. He says, but before all those names, there's one guy. He says, so Arn Anderson. He says, so I'm going to retire the name, voice of the voiceless. This place has a voice, and the people back there listen. He says, you know why I'm here. Darby Allin, I've watched you. I see you. You're reckless to the point of destruction, like you want to end yourself. And I look at you and I say to myself, only CM Punk would say this. I look at somebody else wrestling. I think, can I still do this? He says, can CM Punk still go? Does CM Punk still have what it takes? He mentions Darby Allin being the wrestler that he would be his favorite wrestler if he was 15 years old. Mm-hmm. He says, can CM Punk still be the best in the world? And if the answer is yes, it starts with Darby, because I look at Darby and I see myself. He doesn't fit the mold of what someone else thinks a pro wrestler is. He's not the biggest or the strongest, but he's got the most hardest. If I'm going to answer those questions to myself, and the crowd starts chanting, yes, yes, yes. And he's like, wait, hold on, everybody. You got to wait till September 22nd, Arthur Ashe, and he's going to show up.
I think that's
Tony
the exact quote
Khan
here.
just signed the deal to get Final Countdown.
That's somebody else's shtick. You might need to be just a little bit more patient, is what he said.
Yeah, he was a little bit more subtle than I just was, but yeah. So the crowd loved that, and he had that look on his face like, oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. So he said, September 5th at All Out, it's not about proving the haters wrong. It's about proving to myself that I can still go. I thought I was and then he said, shout out to my wife, and shout out to.
No, it's just his wife.
That was it. That was just his wife.
He did mention Larry, his dog.
He didn't mention Larry.
He just mentioned his wife.
So yeah, another one that all my confidence points are on CM Punk.
You know, you can't put all
Darby
your
Allin.
confidence points on every match. Confidence points don't work that way.
Well, I got time to decide. I got time. This one would be less
you
than
got a week
Jericho.
from Sunday.
It would be like. Okay, so Kenny versus Christian's my number one. Britt versus Statlander is my
for me,
number two.
Mox versus Kojima. I'm putting all my
Oh
confidence points
shit!
on
I
that
forgot
one.
about that one. Never mind. Yeah, you're right. You're
Paul
totally
White
right.
versus QT. Oh, that's probably next.
That's got to be number one, right? That's got to be number
No,
one.
Mox beating Kojima's number one. That's
So for me, Kenny beating Christian's number one.
Oh, that's
There
like
is
third or fourth. Yeah.
because that title, yeah, that's just on principle alone. It's Kenny versus Christian. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, CM Punk is the kind of guy. It wouldn't shock me if he came in and was like, "Look, I know I'm the veteran, but you guys are paying me a shit ton of money. Let me put the kid over." And then Tony Khan would be like, "I appreciate that, but there's not a chance in hell I'm doing that." Because that crowd would be, I'm sorry, but the crowd would be deflated.
Oh, it's in Chicago. Yeah.
And they're in Chicago. It would just be a little bit weird. But this is what you do. You do this match now, and then a year from now, you have Darby take the title off Punk.
There you go. As long as there's a
Do
story
that.
involved, it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to see that. It's just not right now. Once Darby's in the main, like more of a main event guy, then yeah, you do that. Because he did that. They did the same thing with Cody.
Yep.
You know, Cody
Yep.
beat him and then he beat Cody.
Yep.
After that, we got a Miro
Oh, let me
promo.
do
I know
this.
this
I
is
love-
pretty short. So yeah,
Yeah.
and you love Miro. Go ahead.
Yeah, Miro's my favorite. He says, I admit to being wrong, and when you have powerful arms like I do, that's a tough thing to do. He talks about giving Fuego crap for taking the easy road, but then God reminded him there was an original sinner, and he calls out Eddie Kingston. He says that he is judgment, and God will back him because he is Redeemer, and his wife will love him because he's the champion.
I'm
Now
the
bring me the Mad King before I burn this place to the ground. Miro is the best.
I'm the champion. My wife will love me because I'm the champion.
All right, take care of this match. I'll be right back.
All right, so after that, we had a match which I don't even know why this exists, to be honest with you. Darby Allin, Mox, and Kingston. Darby Allin really should be at home right now making short films about CM Punk, but instead he's got to mix it up with the Wingmen. I don't even know the genesis of this match, to be honest with you. It was on Dark or Elevation. Was Kingston on Dark or Elevation? Anybody in chat? Anybody know how this match started? This is some silliness. JD Drake is a lot of fun. But at one point, Mox bit JD Drake on the head. Nothing. So chat says no build. Nothing. Okay. Y'all watch Dark and Elevation? Suckers. Anyways, Mox bites JD's head. Darby hits a code red from the top, and then Peter fucks around and Sting walks him down into Mox and Kingston, and then they stomp his ass. Darby hits a stunner and then a coffin drop on Drake for 3. And after the match, as Mox and Kingston, Sting are all taking care of the rest of the Wingmen, Daniel Garcia attacks Darby Allin from behind, and then the other dudes run him off.
Yeah.
And so he goes. And I'm like, man, this is just chaotic as all hell.
Oh, yeah, the end of this match was a mess.
It
But
was
not,
an
not
absolute
in a bad
mess.
way. It was kind of fun. But it was
No,
just a
it was
mess.
fun. It was fun. I do, like, when I see a guy like Danny Garcia out there, it cracks me up because I'm like, man, Tony Khan just has so many moving pieces on his show. Like, you know, he's got some plan for this Garcia kid because he seems to like him. He's everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is he going to do with him now? And what roadmap is that happening there?
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive how they juggle all this stuff, to be honest with you.
I know. After that, we had a quick interview with Tay Conti. She's pretty quickly interrupted by the Bunny. And Bunny's wondering why Ty is hanging out with Dark Order. Says, how about you sign this contract with the Hardy family office? And Tay Conti rips it right in Bunny's face. They start fighting. Refs break it up. We get a quick FTR promo. Dax is talking about wanting one more match against Santana Ortiz. Cash Wheeler comes in, says he doesn't know if his arm will ever be the same. But where he's from, you rub dirt on it and you keep going. And they're not going to stop until they get their pound of flesh. And they announce next week it's going to be FTR versus Santana and Ortiz.
Speaking of a pound of flesh, you had texted me prior to the show, hey, did you see the Cash Wheeler's giant gash on his arm that he tweeted out? And I was like, no. And then he sent it to me during the pre-show. This thing is horrifying.
Yeah, it's a pretty huge gash.
Looks like some deep dish pizza there in Chicago.
Oh,
holy moly, that's gnarly. I want to see what it looks like bald with a mustache. All right. After that, we had Don Callis, Kenny, Cutler, and Nakazawa. They all come out. Callis, like, almost immediately gets interrupted by Boo Christian, Impact champion, who gets some cheap heat from the crowd by saying, where are they? Milwaukee? They're in Milwaukee. Right? Yeah,
Milwaukee.
And then he's like, hey, Callis, you're a carny piece of shit. Here's a video package to prove it. And so apparently this video package, if I understand it correctly, Christian came in at the age of 20 for his first televised match, and then Callis got him fired immediately afterwards. And in the meantime, he was trying to get a 10-year-old Kenny Omega to wrestle or something.
I couldn't piece anything together from this 25-second video package. I honestly couldn't. It was so almost like purposely poorly put together.
It was like a blur.
They had these little interview clips with that guy. I have no idea who that guy was. I was trying to watch and take notes, and it totally escaped me. Completely.
There was an old man from IWA who knew Callis, and I saw a shot of Christian, who looked very young at the time. And did he fight? And then there were shots of Callis as well.
Yeah,
younger.
Yeah,
and then we're back to the modern day. We're back in 2021, and Christian was like, "See, I told you so. He's a carny piece of shit." And I was like, "I don't know what you just showed me, but okay, I take your word for it. You're the Impact champion." So
you're a future Hall of Famer. I'll take your word for it.
Which Hall of AEW doesn't have a Impact? I mean, you got to clarify. He's a future Impact Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Fame worthy competitor.
As a tag team with Edge, I agree. So, anyways, Don Callis, he gets in the ring with Don Callis. Kenny has a hilarious line where he just gets in the mic really quick and says, "You think you know me?" But Callis does the majority of the talking here. He gets all heated. He's like, "Somebody hold my scarf," and he takes off his jacket. And he says something like,
he says what that showed. Sorry, what that showed is it was funny because Kenny takes the mic and says, "Oh, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this blew up in your face. I was a better athlete at 10 than you were at 20, and still nothing has changed." And Callis says, even then, what that shows is that I use my power to push family over other talent. That makes me like Vince, like Bill Watts, like
Vern Gagne.
But this isn't Eric Watts or Greg Gagne. This is Kenny Omega.
Yeah. And Christian says, the only thing weirder than you manipulating a 10-year-old boy is Kenny still falling for it, which is a pretty funny line. Callis takes off so at that point, Callis takes off his scarf and jacket. He's getting all heated. Christian literally looks like he's about to laugh because it is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Callis says, you're going to be what you've been your entire career, come all out. Second best. That sets off Christian. As he tries to get at Callis, they attack him, wrap the jacket on his head, start hitting him with that cold spray, and then the Elite Hunter comes out and runs them all off.
Yeah, and so next week is Kenny and Cutler versus Kazarian and Christian.
Yes.
They announced that. We got a Moxley promo. He talked, weeks ago. He talked about setting a bunch of contracts over in Japan. He says he got one back. Only one guy had the balls to face him. It's Kojima.
Only one man has a fax machine.
I guess so. It says Kojima must have a death wish because once that bell rings, he's going to try to take off his head. September 5th at All Out. Witness the public execution of a legend.
Eesh. That's Kojima. A bit much. That's a bit much. Yeah, when you get in there, I'm going to break your neck. I'm trying to end your neck and your life.
A bit much. I mean, he was nice enough to sign a contract to give Mox a match at All Out.
He's the only one. The only guy who's going to sign a contract. Everybody else is like, what is that, a fax machine? I'm not picking that thing up. And Kojima's like, no, I used to use this all the time.
It was FedExed.
Well, Kojima knows how to use FedEx, but it was faxed to him in the first place. Yeah, I went down to Staples. Used to be Kinko's. After that, I have no idea why this match was on television. I'm telling you, Big Show versus QT is not an all-out. If this isn't in the kickoff show, then I don't know what they're smoking over there. It was Factory, who got the jobber entrance, versus the Gun Club. And the highlight of this match is Austin Gunn Club Luthez pressing Aaron Solo on the floor, and he knocks himself out.
See, I didn't notice him knocking himself out. I thought it was just a situation because I saw he did it. There's quite a bit of impact. He did it, and he kind of like looked to the side, I thought, and just kind of laid there because I think that was supposed to take him out of the match, and that's why he just kind of laid there.
Took himself out of the match by knocking himself out.
Maybe
I don't think he literally
knocked.
knocked himself. Hold on, I'm going to take another look at this. It looked
Maybe
like
he locked
injured
himself a little bit loopy. Anyway, so the finish saw Colton Gunn looking for his finish. QT counters that with a backbreaker, flatliner. Hubris, though, from QT. He starts talking trash to Paul White, who's on commentary. And then Colton rolls up QT to get the win.
Okay, so he's not out. He's not out. Let me. Somebody said that maybe Solo like countered him or something. Let me see if Solo's. No, Solo didn't do anything.
No, he ate that Luthez press. That's all he did.
he ate the shit out of that. Yeah, I'm gonna look at this one more time. It is hilarious because like Billy Gunn and Camarado like lariat each other out of the equation.
Yeah, they do a double clothesline.
They do
spot,
a double
yeah.
lariat. I'm telling you, it looks like this kid whacks his head. Hold on.
I'll have to watch it later.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. I'll do a GIF. Well, if I do a GIF of it, I'll probably get like copyright blocked or something like that.
We'll do a GIF
weird.
and just send it to me in text, not on Twitter.
Oh, okay, yeah, there you go.
You want to go through this Dan Lambert promo because he's a good promo, but he talks really fast, so I did get a chance to write down.
So I'll be honest. I'm just going to do the breakdown of this, okay? Because I'm not going to talk about the entire point of it is AEW's fan base are a bunch of woke, quote unquote woke millennials, even though aren't millennials like at the upper limit 40 at this point?
Kind of, yeah.
They like lattes or something. I don't know. He throws a bunch of stuff together. I like Lambert. I think he's good. This was too long.
It was too long.
Even he was wheezing through it.
I know. He sounded like me. He sounded like me right now at the end of it, just kind of.
So yeah. So he runs down the AEW generation of wrestlers, makes references to Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy, somebody else, and he says, it's not that AEW's feeding crap to their customers. Their customers are crap, basically, and he has to give them an example of real men. So that's his introduction to the Men of the Year, Scorpio Sky and Page. But it was really long. It was full of silly MAGA quotes. And yeah, there you go. I like Lambert. He's a good promo. This is way too long though.
It was way too long. Yeah, it's way too long. It's way too long. He is a solid promo though. After that, we had an Arn Anderson interview. He says Brock is in over his head. Everyone knows it. He's tried to tell him. Brock's hard-headed. He said, I would die for Brock, and apparently Brock will die for me. He says, hey, good doesn't always conquer evil, but either way, if Brock goes down, essentially so be it,
I can confirm Austin's head snaps back against the floor. Like he whacks his head on the floor.
He might have rung his bell, yeah.
It's pretty funny. Well, it's not funny, but it's kind of funny. Yeah, and then we had Brock Anderson versus Malakai Black. I like that Malakai Black is coming out in the center position because that's supposed to be only Cody's.
Spot. I know. It'd be cool for Malakai's entrance. I thought about this. So he's sitting there cross-legged. Yeah. And when he has to stand up, it's a little awkward.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's not as dramatic as like everything else.
Right.
He has to sit on a platform and he levitates up.
Well, they put some wires on his trunks. And he just sort of he goes from sitting, he goes,
yeah, or levitates for a bit and then stands up from the levitating position. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I like if he like flies like Superman to the ring, like the Christopher Reeve one, where he looks. It's obvious that he's on wires.
Yeah,
with his arms out like this.
Yeah,
if you want him to look stupid, then do that.
Yeah, I think my idea is pretty neat.
I'll be honest with you, I like your idea. Levitation's great. This match wasn't because Brock got some offense in. He basically opens with a takedown, and Black gets up, knee strike to Brock.
I'll be honest, not a whole lot of this made a damn lick of sense.
Okay, walk me through it then.
So you mentioned that Brock really should have happened. Bell rings, Black mask. Malakai
5 more.
Malakai looks at Arn. Arn should grab the towel right there.
Right.
Malakai should look at Arn and be like, not say, hey, throw it, and be like, are you going to do it?
Yeah.
Like kind of dare him, but don't encourage him because that's what he did later on. He's like, you better throw the towel in to save your kid. Because Brock, he gave Brock the opportunity. He said, you roll out of the ring and nothing will happen to you. Brock didn't do that. Malakai should have kicked his head off as soon as the bell rang.
Exactly, yeah.
And then he looks at Arn. Arn might grab the towel, and Malakai says, you going to do it? No? All right. Hit him again. You keep hitting him, keep hitting him with black masses until Arn throws in the towel.
Yeah,
Arn gets in. Arn needs some black mass. He doesn't block that shit.
Doesn't
what is
block
this?
it.
What is that?
Right. Old man. Yeah, I agree with that. And then but what happens is Black yells at him to throw the towel in. Brock comes to, he hits some strikes to Black's legs, and for some reason he sells that. Black hits a black mass. Crowd chants one more time, but Black just goes for the pin instead. Then he goes out there while Arn gets in. Malakai gets a chair, gets back in. Arn says, fight me. And he says, you're not with the chair, though. And so he's okay, not with the chair. And so, Arn blocks the black mass.
It's just not good. None of it is good.
But then so instead, Malakai kicks Arn in the dick, which, that's fine for guys like Eddie Kingston. But Malakai Black is like supernatural guy. I feel like that's like scumbag territory. He's a different kind of heel.
I know.
Kicking dicks really shouldn't be his thing.
Nope.
And then he gives him a black mass. And then the show's about to cut out. And then somebody wanders down and it turns out it's Lee Johnson. And then the show ends.
Yeah.
Don't even really get a proper face off or anything.
No. No, in fact, Malakai leaves the ring when Lee Johnson
he just
comes
bolts. He's like, is this guy down to bring the ring down? Is he a production intern? He's got an AEW polo on. Cody Island's kind of a nightmare, dude, because I feel like Cody's going to beat Malakai Black.
Yeah,
I hope
Malakai
not.
needs to get off that Cody Island.
Maybe. I mean, there's still one episode of Dynamite left. One or two? There's one, right? One.
There's Rampage on Friday, Dynamite, Rampage, and then All Out.
Cody needs to show up next week and get a huge upper hand on Malakai Black, and then get a huge upper hand on him the next week too, so that we can all go into All Out, secure in the knowledge that Malakai Black is going to beat Cody Rhodes again.
Yeah.
It's just Cody will put up a good fight, and that'll be his win. Well, yeah, no, not even that. Cody just completely gets annihilated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Let's go ahead and answer some questions.
I'll be right back.
If you want to have your question answered and you can't make our live show, by all means, hit us up on the Patreon at patreon.com/Steven Larson. You can leave a question there at pretty much any of the reward levels we have here on the Patreon. First up, Thomas Dunnigan says, CM Punk. Oh, great question. I got to wait for Larson to come back to answer this, though. CM Punk gave out ice cream bars in his return. Which food or treat would you give out to the audience? I'm going to say when Steve shows up, it's going to be moon pies. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be moon pies, but they're going to be special, Steve branded moon pies. They're going to be Steve pies. No, they're going to be called cream pies. Larson, the question here is, because CM Punk gave out ice cream bars in his return, what food or treat would you give to the audience? I said moon pies, but I would rebrand them Steve's cream pie.
All right.
What would you give him? So he can run us as Larson give lentils.
No, I mean, that's just not fun. I'll admit to that. I like lentils. It's not fun. Star Crunch?
There you go. That's good. That's good. Yeah. See, Double Wide Jones says everyone loves a cream pie. Let's see here. Next up, Nemo says, do you think they'll let Darby go over CM Punk? Maybe next year. Maybe in a year.
I don't think it's a shoo-in that Punk wins, but he'll win. He'll probably win. I feel pretty confident.
He's totally going to win.
His odds of winning.
Punk is not going to lose in Chicago for his first match.
Probably
that
not.
Scenario will never play out. Let's see here. Sup John says, with CM Punk's return on Rampage called The First Dance, what special name does Rampage get for the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson?
Oh, it'll be the New York show.
The First Countdown.
Final Countdown.
Well, that's the name of the song. That's two on the nose. This is going to be The First Countdown. Because it's the first time they're going to play the Final Countdown.
Maybe let's call it Countdown.
I like the first countdown. Why can't they do that?
I've never heard the phrase "the first countdown" before.
Well, they can make the phrase. The hell, never heard the term Fighter Fest before they did Fighter Fest.
Yeah, but it was a take on Fire Fest. I understand the reference there.
Well, it's a play on the final countdown, the first countdown. Oh my God! Anthony R says the Dark Order turning into the new Team Taz. Hey, where was Team Taz tonight?
Not on the show. That's where they were at.
That's a bummer. Steve Klein, how would you describe CM Punk to someone who is brand new to pro wrestling?
It's best in the world. This is his name.
Yeah, that's good. I would say he's a dude who he's a disgruntled employee, but now he's at a place where he's happy. He's just happy employee now.
Yeah.
He's a happy employee. He's getting paid the most amount of money.
Yeah.
That's who he is.
Yeah. I'm just waiting to see how long it takes for Steve to sour on CM Punk now that he's like content and happy and not disgruntled anymore.
As soon as I see a shred of being disgruntled, I'll be into him, but I'm already soured on him.
Wow. It took 2 appearances, and now Steve's. If I had bought you that CM Punk shirt, you would have like thrown it in the garbage.
I would. Yeah, this whole podcast would be me burning it.
Yeah,
and then
pretty much.
accidentally burning my house down.
Yeah. Maggie says, I really hope we get a Punk cinematic match. I feel like he could bring something game-changing in terms of concepts that haven't been done. Would you guys like to see him in a cinematic match? If so, against who?
Oh, who, Punk?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Cinematic against, he called out Sting.
Yeah.
Have that be Sting's second cinematic match.
That'd be good.
Yeah. But they do it at a meet and greet, like a comic book store meet and greet. They're both there, and they just,
It just happens to break out.
And Borden, Sting had like eaten, because he's older now, so his bowels are probably a little more unpredictable.
All right.
So he's sitting there. It's like a comic book store, so it's kind of small. And they're just sitting there, and Punk is like, God damn, dude, what's your problem? He's sitting here beefing though. He's like, what do you want from me? I'm like 62 years old now. And he's like, are there pills you can take for that? And Sting's like,
oh, he does this. He goes, hey, watch this. He doesn't do the whoo. He puts his hands up to his mouth like he's going to, but he toots.
right, farts.
Not a mouth fart, a real one.
he's like, oh, don't be all high and mighty. You shit the ring one time, and that sets off Phil. And Phil's like, F you, B. And they start beating.
Sting does this, and every time he hits his chest, he toots a little bit more.
Like, you old sack of crap. Stop farting next to me.
There we go. Now, here's a good subtitle for when Daniel Bryan debuts. Something like Enter the Dragon, because he's the American Dragon.
Ah, wait. No, you're onto something there. How about this?
Don't say the first dragon.
AEW Chasing the Dragon.
Okay, that's good.
No, it's not. It's terrible. Isn't that like a heroin reference?
Oh, is that what it is? Oops.
That's all. I think it's a drug reference.
Oh, oops. Actually, First Dragon's not
that.
bad. Architect here in chat says First Dragon.
The First Dragon. Yeah. Okay. All right. We can be on this. We see. It's collaborative.
Yeah.
That CM Punk Sting collaboration right there. There you go. And they just go at it. Oh man, that's hilarious. Let's see here. I am not reading that from Moses Opposes, but it's kind of funny. Octavian says, how strong would you book Punk? For the first year, it's always going to be victories that he barely ekes out because he's still learning to be the best in the world again. And then he turns heel and he just cheats to win a lot. And then he wins the title off of Hangman Page, and then Darby Allin beats him.
All right, that's good. Tori Ton, the first time chat, says, this is my first time watching it. I think Larson was delirious if Steve wasn't behaving the same way.
Oh, man. Let's see here. I don't even know how to understand this question. Jaime Fonseca says, is Team Taz the new Nation of Domination? I'm trying to wrap my head around this concept. I don't think so. It's kind of great. I'm like, well, I kind of know what the Nation of Domination was, and Team Taz ain't that. So I'm going to say, Mr. Fonseca, probably not. But maybe if there's some clarification there, or maybe he was just trying to.
Here's the only thing I can
us.
think of. Of course, when The Rock joined the Nation and started getting popular, it created a bit of infighting within the Nation.
Oh,
Ricky Starks maybe filled that similar role.
Oh, hey, that's a good one. Okay, all right, that's good. Yeah. Let's see here. Ooh, Wizard of Smoke says Adam Cole has a choice. Oh, this is an easy one. He says WWE Prison or Cody Island. It's Cody Island because you can get off Cody Island.
Yeah.
Brody got out of Cody Island, didn't he?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Who's gotten out of who's been in Cody Island? Darby got out of Cody Island.
MJF got off Cody Island.
MJF did too. Yeah, boy, he was deep. He was like towards the center of the island there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. That was too much. We'll be back tomorrow with more. And until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.